Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you for clicking on this video. I know this is not the type of stuff that we do post on this channel, but I figured I'd make a video about my recent experiences to let anyone who is curious to know what my COVID-19 journey was like on a cruise ship. So as you can tell by the title, I did get COVID-19. It did take place on a Disney cruise. So today I'm going to talk about and go through the best I can my situation with how everything went down. So before I start this video, I just want to say a big thank you to Disney Cruise Line, and all of the cast members and all of the other people who were involved in helping us make this situation as stress-free and as seamless as possible. Disney went above and beyond with this whole situation, and I cannot thank them enough for everything that they did for us to help us navigate through this whole situation of having COVID and getting home. So thank you so much. So to start off, I did go on a Disney cruise. It was a 7-night cruise to the Virgin Islands and Disney's Castaway Cay, which is their private island. So it was me, my fiance Madison, which you guys already know, and then my 2 other friends that went on this cruise. So to start off, right now with Disney's current policy with COVID-19, you do have to test for fully vaccinated adults. You do have to still get tested a maximum of 2 days prior to getting on a cruise ship. So I did test, and I did test negative, so I was able to get on the cruise ship. However, about 3 days into the cruise, I did start to have some symptoms of things like body aches, chills, and I believe I had a fever as well. So I went to sleep that night, which was the 2nd night, and I woke up this is the 3rd night, and I woke up going into the 4th day, not feeling good at all. So before I did anything else, I actually had an extra COVID-19 test with me. So I wanted to take this test first just to confirm my symptoms and make sure that this was really COVID-19 before letting the cruise ship know. So I did take a rapid antigen test, and it did come up positive. So what I did next was notify the health services department on the cruise ship. They told me to come down for a test right away. So that's what I did. They wanted to do a confirmatory PCR test, which is going to be more accurate than a rapid antigen test. So I went down to guest services. I did have a mask on, and I tried to stay away from people on the elevators, stuff like that. And basically they tested me with a PCR. They told me to go back to my room. And then about an hour later, they called me confirming that I did test positive for COVID-19 while we were on the ship. Now, I have no idea how I got it. I did test 2 days prior at home, and then obviously I was in an airport for a long time, and I was out in public without a mask on, so that could be the areas that I could have possibly gotten COVID. So previously, a couple months ago, I believe, the cruise lines were requiring you get tested the day of the cruise. Now it has changed. At the time of filming, you can test up to 2 days prior. So I think that did have some effect on how I got it going through the whole process. So from there, after I tested positive, a public health officer did call me, and they basically told me everything. At this point, I was really stressed out. I had no idea what was going to happen with me, with my fiance, with my friends, because obviously they were all exposed. So the first thing that the public health person told me is that I do have to isolate. According to the CDC at the time of filming, they did follow the recommendations, of course, which were 5 days of isolation. So I had to isolate for the remaining time on the cruise, which would be 4 full days plus a 5th day off the cruise ship. So they explained that to me right away. And then they told me that because my fiance and my friends were exposed to me, they also had to isolate, which I was so bummed out. I felt so bad for them because they didn't look into, or they weren't expecting this. Their trip and their cruise was kind of ruined by this. But what's crazy is my friends, one of my friends also tested positive during the cruise too. So at the end of the day, they had to isolate too. But overall, I was very upset that we had to get COVID at this time, but it's nobody's fault. And then after, testing positive, we did have to stay, like I said, on the ship for 4 days. We did have to isolate in our room. We could not leave the cruise ship, or sorry, we could not leave the room. And Disney was amazing about this. They brought all of our food, they brought water, they brought whatever we needed to the room because we couldn't leave. They made sure that if we weren't in a room that had a balcony, that they would possibly try to get us one with a balcony, so that way we could at least enjoy some fresh air. But we did have a balcony room, so we didn't have to worry about that. So going forward throughout the 4 days, it was pretty much us just sitting in a room, trying to, enjoy ourselves the best way we could. We were watching movies, we were sitting out on the balcony. Yes, I did have symptoms, like I said, so I was not feeling the best. So I was mostly resting while my fiance was, going, pretty much in the room and out to the balcony as much as she could, because that's all she really could do. So, for the remaining 4 days, like I said, we did isolate. Now, after, Disney was very good about communicating throughout the whole process, but specifically with us getting off the ship and debarking from the cruise ship, they handled everything. They gave us point of contacts, they gave us phone numbers, so that way we weren't lost throughout the process. They pretty much booked us a hotel for the remaining days that we were off the ship. And here's the kicker that I didn't know. So obviously you have to quarantine for 5 days, and then after the 5 days, if you're symptom free, fever free for 24 hours, you can come off of isolation. But I thought we would be able to go home after the 5 days of isolation. So the cruise took place in Florida, and I live in Las Vegas. So I thought I would be able to go home on that 6th day. However, according to the CDC at the time of filming, you cannot travel within 10 days of having COVID. So we were there for an extra 6 days total, and Disney pretty much gave us that hotel time from the time we got off the ship to the time we were able to go home. Now, Disney did give us 2 options regarding going home, because you cannot travel with the CDC for 10 days. They did say that we would be able to get a rental car and travel back home driving there, but I did not feel comfortable driving all the way from Florida to Las Vegas with certain circumstances being involved there. So we opted to just wait the full 10 days and then fly back home. We did have to rebook our own flights, but Disney helped us with everything else. They said that anything that was like a necessity, whether that be food, water, transportation, that they would reimburse us for all of that once we get back to our home state. And then once we got home, we would just have to send receipts and stuff like that to get reimbursed. They were very helpful. They were like, if you need anything, please call us. And I did call them a couple times, and they always answered, and they were very reassuring. They helped us out with everything that we needed help with. So the only thing that, like I said, they weren't able to help us with was rebooking our flights, but we were able to do that no problem. And they also said that they would reimburse us for the flight change if there was any fee for changes in flights. So that was pretty much it. I mean, we were able to enjoy our time in Florida after my 5 days of isolation, and then waiting for the full 10 days to fly back home. It was a really good time. We all felt pretty good after pretty much being symptom free with COVID. Of course, we wore masks everywhere we go, because I believe there's another requirement where you have to still wear a mask for a full 10 days. So that was pretty much my experience. Let me see if I missed anything that I wanted to talk about here. So Disney, like I said, was very accommodating. While we were on the cruise ship, they told us that we could purchase the internet package, and they would reimburse us for that. That way we could call home or contact home to make sure that everything was taken care of, contact work to make sure everything was taken care of. So I really, really appreciated that. They went above and beyond the whole time that we were there. I think this is a really good kind of testament to cruising in general, not just Disney, because I know the other cruise lines do this as well. But if you tested positive in like a theme park or anywhere else, no company would probably reimburse you because there's no way to track where you got COVID. Now with the cruise ship, like I said, they pretty much took care of everything that we needed, and this is something that's different from anywhere else that you could test positive. If you test positive at an airport, they're not going to do anything. If you test positive at a theme park, they're not going to do anything. But with the cruise ships, they really do a great job of making sure that everything is taken care of, and that way you are not put in such a stressful situation, because testing positive already in the middle of the ocean is pretty stressful. One thing I do recommend is that you do bring extra COVID tests with you. That way, in case situation where you start feeling symptoms, you do have tests right away that you could test yourself. So that is probably the biggest recommendation I can give as far as this whole COVID situation. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I made this video for anyone who's interested in watching this video, because I don't think there's a lot of content out there that shows what happens on a cruise ship, specifically if you get COVID-19. So that's all I have for today. Feel free to put your questions down in the comments and we'll answer as many as we can. Like I said, thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll be back for some more videos. Bye guys.